Good day, ladies and gents. How is everyone going? This is Saba from the Silly McWiggles project. Thanks for tuning in to the Silly Talks Music podcast. This is the Encore episode with a Sydney-based singer and rapper, DEVAURA, who also calls herself a good citizen with bad habits. By the way, that's also a lyric from one of her tracks. She's the first guest on this season of the pod, entirely dedicated to the Australian hip-hop scene. In the previous episode, she walked us through her first steps in the music business. She also gave us a cheeky sneak peek into the Western Sydney music scene. We talked more broadly about storytelling in music because DEVAURA is one of those artists who are all about world building in their craft. If you haven't listened to that part of our chat, the first one, it might be a good idea to do it now before you listen to this one. It sets the context for what we'll be talking about today. Last time we left off our conversation on the topic of creative space. So let's dive a bit deeper into that subject now. Especially since every artist approaches it differently, and it's always fascinating for me to find out the reasoning behind it. I assumed, for instance, that in DEVAURA's case, her storytelling skills would have something to do with the creative process. Was I right? Here's DEVAURA breaking down a typical creative songwriting session with her team.
There's definitely two ways about it. There's definitely two ways that a session with me typically goes.
Yeah.
Session usually goes that it could just be they're clicking through beats, they're clicking through things, some samples, or they're playing chords. Sometimes they'll just play keys and I'll just be like, oh, what was that chord? What was that last thing that you just played? What was that? What did you just strum? And we just build around that. And then a storyline will come to me or a character.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, okay, let's build this world out. Kind of, like writing a short novel almost. And then there's times where I will come in with a very specific melody in mind or a very specific story in mind. And I think that's what the past 6 to 8 months has been, where we're planning and gearing up for, I guess, like a project, really. And we've been really intentional with this, how we want the structure of the project to be and what we're talking about in the project as well. And so a lot of the sessions now have definitely been catered to the storylines that I'm bringing up. But in terms of the composition of the tracks, it's definitely been like, I've been a backseat driver. I've been a backseat driver. Like, what is that? What does that mean? Can we change this to this and this? Mind you, I have no background in music. I can't play a single instrument. But I think it's beautiful the way, I guess my family and my team are, where it's like, they let me play. Like, they let me explore. Okay, well, what's that thought? What's that idea? Let's flesh it out. And it's just been a really forgiving space.
Okay.
To the point where I'm now a lot more confident about the sonic choices that I make. So half the time in the sessions now, they go, so what do you want? And now it's been really great being able to develop that muscle for myself.
Let's pause here for a minute, shall we? Because what we've just heard is a testament to how much DEVAURA has grown as an artist in the last couple of years, in my humble view. And the fact that she's so humble about the journey she's been on and eager to learn speaks volumes about her craft too. On that note, I asked her about lyrics. Not that I know many rappers who would spit someone else's rhymes, but as an emerging muso, maybe she seeks external help or validation to put her words on paper. It turns out she's super passionate about that topic too. Asked if she's the author of the lyrics in her songs, she jumps in right away, before I can even properly finish my question.
Absolutely 100%. at all times. I think I went to the offbeat writing camp, which was really dope. And I actually even started considering what top lining would look like for other people because I actually enjoy that process. I love writing. My background in terms of like using any type of medium creatively was poetry. I wrote poetry and I did short novels first before music was ever even on my radar for something for me to do. I don't even know what it would be to like to have another writer involved in some of the stuff that we're putting out because a lot of it is geared towards my own personal experiences, which of course everyone's going to have their own personal experiences when they're making music. But I think my life story or the music that I've been putting out, including crazy tracks like Kamikaze, have been autobiographical, you know, in the sense of like they're very specific moments and they're very specific feelings that only myself, my therapist, and God and my little sister know about. And so I don't know. It's an intimate thing to have to then say that to someone else in the hopes that they understand it and then write it in the way. And so I don't know. That's not really something I've maybe had the time to develop or figure out with other people. I don't even let the boys even suggest a line because if they do, I'm just like, idea is gone. I don't want it anymore because I think the people that I look up to, like I say, I like to say I'm a student of rap. So the people that I look up to, like 50 Cent, Foxy Brown, Nicki Minaj, MC Light, I want to even say Queen Latifah. Like all of these people are smart individuals. They are smart with their pen. They're smart with how they approach the stories they tell, whether it's comedic, whether it's raunchy, whether it's fun, whether it's poking fun at people, or whether it's reflective. And I think it's like, it would be an insult to the genre. And I think it would be an insult to rap as a skill, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
To cheapen it by using someone else's words. When I say I'm a student of rap, I'm a student of rap, not a student of being an entertainer in the hip hop space. Absolutely not. Which is fine if everyone has their, you know, bread and butter. But I think I definitely, I knew the moment that I did my first track that I was rapping on, I was like, yeah, it has to be, if I'm going to keep doing this, it has to be done in this way. And it has to be done really respectfully of a genre that's so young. 40 years is, you know, is crazy. So definitely want to be respectful of that process, including writing. And I pride myself on my pen. I really do.
I'm really glad DEVAURA has mentioned that last part, that she prides herself on her pen. But I still think she doesn't give herself enough credit for what she's already achieved in the music business since 2023. So I'm just going to give you a few facts here. She's slowly but successfully building a fan base in Australia and beyond. I can see that from her streaming numbers. She frequently collaborates with other dope artists in her community. Aside from the already mentioned Yao Das Doll, she's dropped Hustle Harder, a song with Brazen Barbie, another female identifying hip-hop artist whose stage name I start seeing more frequently on all kinds of playlists and in industry news. DEVAURA's Triple J Unearthed page is full of rave reviews, and I'm not exaggerating. You literally have to scroll to the next page and then to the next page and to the next page. It looks like she really resonates with a lot of people. But I wanted to know from the muso herself about one of her most recent achievements. How did she find out that she was one of the Triple J Unearthed draft pick artists in 2024?
I woke up, like I think I'm not even joking, I had work and I think I went on my lunch break and I opened up my emails, which as I usually do, and I was just like, by the way, we're making an announcement tomorrow. You've been picked. What is going on? I screamed. I was like, what is happening? Like I was so shocked. beyond shocked. I didn't even know they were on, like, I was even on their radar. I
Mm,
was just making music because it was fun and it was just something that I love doing and I take pride in, obviously. But I had no idea industry wise
yeah.
that it was going to be on anybody's radar because I was
Mm.
like, who are these people? What's going on?
Yeah.
How did you get my email? But yeah, that was crazy. And I think that really started a huge influx of connections, I
Mm,
will say. A huge influx of conversation and, wanting to know like who are you? What do you make music for?
mm,
What da, 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 da. And but it was also really affirming as well that I felt like I was like, okay, at least we're doing the right things and it's
yeah.
not just my friends that love my music. It's also, people outside of my friendship circle that are liking or at least interested or curious about what's going on. So that was incredible and I'm just very grateful. Very, very
Yeah.
grateful.
So was it before or after you were chosen to showcase Big Sound?
This was before Big Sound.
Okay.
I had not even applied, funny enough,
Okay.
for Big
Okay.
Sound. I didn't think I was ready.
All
I
right.
didn't think I was ready for Big Sound, actually. I was like, I don't know, guys, I don't think I'll do it. And I think it was 5 days out from the last day to apply for Big Sound that Yao called me and he was like, if you don't apply right now, my manager was like, if you don't apply right now, like, regardless, if a no is a no, but you
Yeah.
will never know if you don't apply, just apply. And so, yeah, but Triple J was before Big Sound.
Yeah, and that's, if I can say so, that's another validation of what you do, because I know artists that apply year on, like every year and they never get it. And you do it, on the first go, you're there. So congrats on that again.
Again, thank you. When I tell you I was not expecting that,
Yeah.
not even remotely. So yeah, very affirming. And I'm just over the moon that it was even received well when we got there as well. So that was a great experience for me and my band as well, my team.
Yeah. And there was one review on Unearthed that I read. Someone must have written it after Big Sound, that your performance at Big Sound was that person's favorite one. So how was it for you? What were you stressed? Like, was it cool? Like, how
Oh,
did you feel there?
I was all of the things. I was stressed. I was excited. Um, I think it was good stress because
Mm,
I'm a very like, as fun and bubbly as I am, I'm very like,
structured.
we got to get things done
Mm,
and we need to, be structured and we need to make sure we're on time, make sure we're doing things in a way that makes sense. And I came with a 7-piece group. Like yeah, one girl with 7 guys. And I funding the whole thing and I'm,
right?
figuring out the logistics of everything. But yeah, it was stressful, but it was good stress. Definitely a lot of learning curves. Um, and I remember being like, oh, I'll just be happy if 15 people are in the room or like, 10 people are in the room. And when we did the first one and I was like, okay, what's going on?
Mm,
When it was the second night and the venue was packed beyond like, I didn't even realize how full the venue was until halfway through the set that I was just like, the room is full,
mm.
like really, really full. And I just like broke down on stage and I was crying because it was like such a big like moment for me in terms of like the timeline. We're gonna
Yeah.
go. Yeah. We're on the move, but we'll keep talking. But yeah,
Okay.
in terms of what's it called? Yeah, the timeline of everything, doing Big Sound and then having that be such a like, I don't know, one really packed and then also having people come up afterwards was
Mm-hmm.
really, it was just really affirming for me, myself and my band, because like my band also consisted of my producers as well, and then all of, I guess, the friends we've made over the past 10 months of
Yeah.
like doing music publicly.
Just to clarify that last segment for those of you, dear listeners, who might not be familiar with the Australian music scene. Triple J Unearthed is an Australian digital radio station and online music discovery platform where any unsigned artist can upload their music. Big Sound is Australia's biggest music conference and showcase festival, which takes place annually in Brisbane at the beginning of September. It's an incredible opportunity for up-and-coming acts to present themselves to industry reps from different sectors and even different countries. Now, going back to my conversation with DEVAURA. Before signing off, I sometimes like to challenge my guests, asking them questions that make them reflect on their journey in a more profound way. And I'm aware that their answer might not be the easiest or the most obvious one, even to them. DEVAURA has mentioned frequently throughout our conversation that she's only just entered the world of hip-hop, and her background is actually in singing. So, how does she feel about these two skills of hers? Is she a better singer or rapper?
Oh, it's hard.
I know.
I don't know. I think, you know what? I will say that I'm a better singer because I've done that longer. And I think I'm really confident in how my skill rap-wise has been developing. But I think I'll always say that I'm a better singer first. Just if I had to go off of timeline-wise, because rapping is very new to me. So, oh God, that's a hard question because I've been really enjoying rap too. So I don't know. I think people have their own. What do you think? What do you personally enjoy?
Do you know what the reason I asked you is because, again, from Triple J Unearthed, one of the Unearthed staff, I don't know from who that was from Triple J, he wrote that it's really hard to do both well. So you either are a great singer or you're a great rapper, but you do both like amazingly well, and that's like, you know, it's kind of mind blowing. You know, it's like I can't tell because I think you're great at both things, which I think is just unusual. So I was kind of, you know, curious about how you felt about it, you know, because sometimes singers or like rappers, they have a preference. It's not maybe about what's better for them, but they have a preference. So they feel better rapping and then they sing on top because they can. But you know,
because they can. Got you. In terms of preference, I definitely don't. I think it's really 50-50 for me. I genuinely in love with singing as much as I am rapping. I think like moving forward, it will always be a combination of that. I think it will always be whatever serves the song or the story first. But yeah, that's a tough one. But you'll definitely be hearing both from me moving forward at all times.
And that's great. And the last question to wrap it up. So in that Acclaim interview that's on your Instagram as well, the video, you said at one stage, you know, that when you kind of put out the first song, you didn't know what the response was going to be, but it was great. And then you enjoyed the process as well. So you were like, yeah, I think that's what I want to keep doing. But just imagine that it wouldn't have worked out. So what would be the other option? If you weren't a singer and rapper and entertainer, what would you be doing in life? Or is it just take it or leave it? There was no other option.
It was kind of a bit of both.
Okay.
I knew that I wanted to, but I think I would have either pivoted probably just pivoted into doing like voice acting or something like that, because I have a background in theater as well. But I'm also studying and doing psychology. So knew that I was going to do, so we got the private and then the public side of things. So I knew that I wanted to do clinical psychology. Recently figured out I actually want to get into clinical social work.
Okay.
So I think I'd be doing that in some regard, and definitely media or entertainment in some capacity would be involved for sure.
I can't really say I'm surprised. Having such a bubbly and friendly personality, I can't imagine DEVAURA doing anything else than working in entertainment to some extent, to be honest. Otherwise, it would be such a waste of her talent. And that's a wrap for now, ladies and gentlemen. Many thanks to DEVAURA for making the time for this chat, even though I know she was very busy working in the studio on new songs. I'm also grateful that she was so open and honest about her adventures in the music land so far. So please do me a favor, dear listeners, and check out DEVAURA's channels. You'll find a link to them in the show's notes. I can't wait to hear more new music from the Sydney rapper and singer, and I'm super curious about that project she mentioned cryptically at some point in our convo. There is something else you can do for me as well, please. Do you know that I produce this show and the content for all my channels in-house, all by myself from A to Z? Yep, I'm a one-woman orchestra and proud of it. I still have a long way to go, but you gotta start somewhere, right? Passion and commitment can always use a little help from the outside world though. So, if you like what you hear on this show, engaging with the content is the best way you can support me. It's as simple as giving the pod a review or a rating wherever you listen to it, sharing it with someone who you think might be interested in the content, or following me on my socials, so you hear firsthand about new episodes and new projects. Pretty please and thank you heaps! FYI, I'm at Silly McWiggles on all socials, so it's super easy to find me everywhere. Finally, if this chat hasn't convinced you that DEVAURA is your new favorite Sydney rapper, her music definitely will. Thank you for tuning in today. More chats are on the way, so stay tuned. Bye!